Hi there, high level listeners. Welcome back to High Level Listening, our English learning podcast where we help you sound more natural in English with fun, real life conversations in American and British English. I'm Kat from the United States.
And I'm Mark from the UK, and today our episode is all about healthy eating. So, like always, we'll both share a story about ourselves and the kind of food choices that we make, how we plan our meals, and about our eating habits. Kat will start in American English, and then you'll hear my side in British English, and then we'll compare them side by side so you can listen to both accents, learn some vocabulary differences if there are any, and a bit of culture as well.
That's right. And if you want even more help, don't forget you can download the Season 4 study pack from the link in the description below. Every week, we make brand new bonus materials for every episode, which includes the full transcript, a picture dictionary of today's vocabulary, listening activities, and much more. You can find all of that in the description down below.
Okay, so Kat will read her story first. Today's question is, Kat, do you try to eat healthy?
Yeah, I try to eat healthy by cooking at home most days. I focus on eating nutritious meals with fresh vegetables, whole grains, and lean protein like grilled chicken or beans. I've been cutting down on processed foods and avoiding anything with added sugar. For snacks, I choose low-fat yogurt, raw almonds, or some fresh fruit. I try to drink lots of water to stay hydrated and keep my energy up. I also try to eat a variety of foods so I get plenty of vitamins and minerals. And on the weekend, of course, I treat myself a little, maybe some chocolate or some pizza. You only live once, right?
Right, YOLO.
YOLO, indeed. So, Mark, what about you? How do you normally try to eat healthy?
Well, I don't follow a strict diet, but I do try to make sensible food choices. I cook my meals from scratch, using as many non-processed ingredients as I can, and I'm trying to get more fiber-rich foods in as well, like lentils and oats. I'll generally avoid anything too salty or greasy, and I've been keeping an eye on how much red meat I eat too. I tend to have a look at labels to find low sugar or low sodium options. And if I do fancy something sweet, I've been swapping sugary stuff for some bits of fruit, or better yet, a nice smoothie with some berries and bananas.
That sounds good. I could go for a smoothie, actually.
Right? Yeah, after this, right? Okay, so you've heard both our stories now. Don't worry if you didn't catch everything we said. We're about to go back to the start and go through them once again. And we'll focus on vocabulary and expressions about healthy eating so you can talk about your own healthy eating habits in high level English. So back to the start, Kat. What do you do to eat healthy again?
I try to eat healthy by cooking at home most days. I think probably my number one piece of advice, if you want to eat healthier, cook at home. It's really the only way you'll know exactly what's in your food, how much food you should eat, etc. Now, some people might think, oh, why is it not healthily? Eat healthily. Well, yes, that would be going with the grammar rules, but at the same time, we say it so quickly, healthily, healthily, healthy. Eat healthy just kind of runs together much more smoothly, right? So I try to eat healthy by cooking at home most days. Maybe not every day, but most days. So I try to eat healthy by cooking at home most days. What about you, Mark? Are you on some sort of diet or kind of health kick right now?
No, I'm not. I don't follow a strict diet, but I do try to make sensible food choices.
That's better, I think.
Right. So I don't follow a strict diet. A diet is usually an eating plan. If I'm on a diet, that sounds like I'm trying to lose weight or
Mhm.
slim down, but I don't follow a strict diet. If the diet says eat 100 grams of this, I eat 100 grams of it. That's me following my diet. Strict means that there's a lot of foods that I'm not allowed to eat. So no chocolate, no sugar, nothing with high fat, maybe not a lot of carbohydrates either. A strict diet really limits the options of the things you're allowed to eat. And generally, that's not very fun, or maybe it's okay for the first couple of days, and then after that, it gets more and more difficult. So I don't follow a strict diet, but I do try to make sensible food choices. We've used this structure a few times in previous episodes as well. I don't do this, but I do try this. Again, we want to stress the contrast or create more balance between two opposite things. I don't follow a strict diet, but I do try to make sensible food choices. A sensible food choice would be just a smart choice. If I want to lose weight and I have a chocolate bar and an apple, of course, I should choose the apple. That is a sensible choice. It is a common sense choice. So I do think about the food I eat and I try to choose healthy options. And I just make sensible food choices. Okay, back to your side, Kat. What kinds of foods do you eat?
Well, I usually focus on eating nutritious meals with fresh vegetables, whole grains, and lean protein like grilled chicken or beans. Okay, we've got a lot of good vocabulary here. I focus on eating nutritious meals. Now remember, your meal is everything you put on the plate. So I focus on eating nutritious meals. This one's kind of hard for pronunciation. Make sure that you have that oo sound. Nutritious. That TR sound is going to be a tr, almost sounds like a CH. So that TIOUS. That's so crazy. It sounds like shus. Nutritious. Eating nutritious meals, meaning it's full of lots of nutrients. Nutrients are the vitamins, the energy, the calories, the minerals, anything that you need to make your body healthy. It's good for you. Very nutritious. So like Mark said, between chocolate and an apple, which one is more nutritious? Well, the apple is going to have lower calories, but more vitamins, more minerals than maybe a piece of sweet, sugary chocolate, right? Fresh vegetables, fresh food, freshly picked, fresh from the garden. And then this word vegetable, it sounds like a TCH, vegetables, like comfortable, vegetable. Okay, so we've got vegetables, whole grains. If you prefer brown bread to white bread, you prefer whole grain bread, whole wheat bread. If you keep the little brown pieces, we call them whole grains. Whole grains. So brown rice, whole grain flour, whole grain bread, things like that. These are whole grains. And lean protein. This is really big now because we don't want to eat too much fat. So you might have a nice piece of steak, all the fat running through it, and that's completely fine. I love a good steak, but I try to eat more lean protein. Lean is lower in fat. Okay, it doesn't taste as nice, but it is healthier, right? Lean protein like grilled chicken or beans. Those are a good lean protein, meaning lower in fat. More protein, less fat. So I focus on eating nutritious meals with fresh vegetables, whole grains, and lean protein like grilled chicken or beans.
Yeah, I've even seen it on like meat packaging, a good source of lean protein, and
Absolutely.
It's like minced turkey or something. So yeah, this
Yes.
is such a big trend. It's even on advertising now.
Of course, yeah. So, Mark, what kind of foods do you like to eat?
So I cook my meals from scratch using as many non-processed ingredients as I can, and I'm trying to get more fiber-rich foods in, like lentils and oats. So, just like Kat, I cook my meals. That's an easy way to control the ingredients. And I cook my meals from scratch. From scratch is a phrase meaning from zero, from nothing. At the start of my cooking, I only have raw ingredients. I have nothing that is pre-made in a jar or in a can, like sauce or a mix of vegetables that were already cooked before. I cook my meals from scratch. I think the idea is then I can control what goes into it. And of my raw ingredients, I try using as many non-processed ingredients as I can. So processed ingredients basically sound like they've been through a machine and maybe they've had some extra things added to it to save money. But people try to avoid those kinds of things. Non-processed ingredients would be freshly made. It's another way to say fresh or organic. So I cook my meals from scratch using as many non-processed ingredients as I can. And I'm trying to get more fiber-rich foods in. There's two parts to this sentence. I'm trying to get something in. If I'm thinking about the food I eat and my diet, I want to eat certain types of food more. Maybe I have a target or a goal of 20 grams of fiber a day. I want to get 20 grams in. In, like in my body. Maybe if you're trying to build muscle, you want to eat lots of calories per day. So I'm trying to get my calories in. So for me, I'm trying to get more fiber-rich foods in, like in my body. The word rich is often used with food as well. Fiber-rich, protein-rich. That means there is a lot of fiber. There is a lot of protein. Even this episode is vocabulary rich. Like there's lots of vocabulary. So yeah, if you're talking about rich, it's not about money. It's about a lot of it inside. So I'm trying to get more fiber-rich foods in, like lentils and oats. Okay, so back to your side, Kat. Are there any foods that you just avoid completely?
Well, I've been cutting down on processed foods like you and avoiding things with added sugar. So, one way to say that I'm avoiding it or I'm trying not to eat something, I've been cutting down on it. Okay, if I'm cutting down on something, I'm slowly removing it from my regular diet. Now, if you're cutting down on something, it's not 100% gone, right? You didn't cut down to zero. That would be cutting it out completely. So, cutting down, over time, I've been cutting down on processed foods. Just like Mark said, a lot of big companies process foods to make them high in fat, really tasty, really salty. But if you look at the ingredients, not much nutritional value. They're definitely not protein rich. They're definitely not fiber rich. They're just overly processed, right? So I've been cutting down on processed foods and avoiding things with added sugar. Okay, so when I see that cake with all the extra sugar, the icing on top, I'm thinking, oh, that looks good, but I'm avoiding that right now. I just don't want to eat too much sugar. So I'm avoiding things with added sugar. Added sugar. All right, what about you, Mark? Are there any foods that you particularly avoid?
I'll generally avoid anything too salty or greasy, and I've been keeping an eye on how much red meat I eat too.
Idea.
So I'll usually avoid anything too salty or too greasy. Again, too, T-O-O, is always negative. So too salty means there is too much salt, or the salt level is so high, it's not good for my body, so I can't eat it. Again, I can look at labels and see the salt content. If it's very high, okay, I will put that back on the shelf. Or I'll avoid anything too greasy. Greasy comes from the oil in foods. It could come from meat or using a lot of oil while you're cooking. Sometimes you pick up a piece of meat and it's almost shiny on the top. that is grease, or if you're eating a hamburger and it's wrapped in the paper, when the paper is kind of wet or almost see-through, that's greasy, and that's fat. So I'll try to avoid anything too salty or greasy, and I've been keeping an eye on how much red meat I eat too. Yes, so if you keep an eye on someone, you watch them carefully. But you can also apply this to food and diet. If you keep an eye on your diet, it means you're thinking about and you're watching the kinds of food that you eat. The kind of food that I want to avoid or eat less of is red meat. In English, there's two types, white meat and red meat. Red meat includes beef, lamb, and also pork. I think generally it comes from the colour of it when it's raw. Mm-hmm. And there's lots of advice out there saying that too much red meat can harm your health in the long term. So I want to be careful or watch how much I eat. So I've been keeping an eye on how much red meat I eat. So if it's Friday and I have some beef, I'll think, on Tuesday, I ate some beef already. So today I will have chicken instead, some white meat. So again, I'm thinking about the food I eat and have been eating over the last few days as well, so I can stay healthy and have a balanced diet. All right, back to your side, Kat. Do you ever eat between meals, like little snacks?
Yeah, I mean, I am American after all. We just love snacks. We love snacks. So for snacks, I choose low-fat yogurt, raw almonds, or some fresh fruit. So instead of the processed stuff, I usually choose low-fat yogurt. Now, yogurt sometimes can have, 5%, 10% fat, and it's delicious. But if I want it just as a snack, I'll go for the low-fat option. If you're on a low-fat diet, if you're drinking low-fat milk, if you're having something that has the fat lowered, we call it low-fat. We could also have low sugar, low salt, low something. So you could have it not completely gone, but just lower than normal. The other one I have is raw almonds. Almonds are those little kind of tear-shaped nuts, and they're very popular from California, and I like them raw. A lot of nuts, they end up getting fried in oil, and so they're already kind of fatty to begin with, lots of good fats for you, but once they're fried on top of being fatty, you end up having a very high-calorie snack, so I prefer the raw almonds, which means that they have not been cooked. They have not been fried. So less salt, right? Less fat. So these are a low salt, low fat option, raw almonds, or some fresh fruit.
And it's funny how it seems like recently that the word raw is now associated with healthy. So instead of just fresh ingredients, raw ingredients or raw milk.
That's true.
Raw
it's
almonds.
Kind of become a buzzword. Mm-hmm.
It is. It's quite trendy right now. Raw sounds good. It sounds natural.
Raw diet.
Like,
that means
humans
no cooking anything, right?
Well, yeah, easier that way. But also, like, no one has interfered with it. No one's messed with it or added anything to it. It's pure.
That's
like
fair.
nature
That's fair.
intended.
Very, very natural.
Yeah, right.
Raw. All right. So, Mark, when you go grocery shopping, how do you normally find healthy foods at the store?
I have a look at the labels to find low sugar and low sodium options. So I'm at the supermarket, I see an item I want, I will pick it up, and on every jar, tub, pot, there will be a label. You can call it the nutrition label, but in normal everyday speech, the label. Check the label. What does it say on the label? And the label can be the front with the brand logo, and on the back, the label is also where it breaks down every single ingredient inside, the protein, carbs, fat levels, and all of the details. So check the label to find low sugar and low sodium options. As Kat mentioned already, we measure food levels in high, low. Low means less, and if it's sugar, low sugar is healthier. I also mentioned salt and salty food earlier. The scientific name for salt is sodium, and that's also what you will see on food labels, just like low fat, low sugar, etc. Okay, back to your side again. Is there anything else that you do apart from the snacks to try and stay healthy?
When I'm feeling snacky, sometimes I think I'm just thirsty. So I try to drink lots of water to stay hydrated and keep my energy up. I also try to eat a variety of foods so I get plenty of vitamins and minerals. I try to drink lots of water. Why? To hydrated, to stay hydrated. It's very important when it's really hot outside, when you go for a workout, you need to stay hydrated, that you have enough water in your body. If you don't have enough water, you are dehydrated. I'm dehydrated. Whew, okay. Stay hydrated, everyone. It's a hot day today. And I want to stay hydrated and keep my energy up. All right. I want to keep my energy up, meaning those levels of having a good amount of energy, I want to keep it up, keep them high. Because when I start to get dehydrated, I get slower and slower, and I can't participate in work. I can't think. I can't exercise. I need to stay hydrated, keep my energy up. I also try to eat a variety of foods. I'm not the kind of person who can eat chicken, broccoli, rice every day of the week. I can't do it. I just don't like it. Plus, it's better to eat a variety of foods. Don't just eat 3 foods. Don't just eat 2 vegetables a week. Eat 10 different vegetables. Eat different kinds of meat. Get different protein from different protein sources. Eat a variety of foods. So I get plenty of vitamins and minerals. Oh,
Hey, finally.
vitamins and vitamins, vitamins and
There we go.
vitamins.
Right. Yeah, we haven't used these for a while. But
No.
yeah, in a British accent, that's vitamins.
Hmm.
Plenty of
And minerals?
vitamins.
Minerals is fine
Minerals is
though.
the same,
Okay,
just
it's the same.
vitamins.
So I get plenty of vitamins, vitamins. And the way that Mark says it, vitamins, and Americans say vitamins, vitamins.
Right, that's true.
So remember, I want to get lots of water. I could say drink plenty of water and get lots of vitamins and minerals. So very similar. Plenty, a lot, lots of. Plenty of, lots of, a lot of. All right. You're on this health kick. You're doing really well. What happens when you get a craving for something? How do you deal with those cravings, Mark?
Mm. If I do fancy something sweet, I've been swapping sugary stuff for some bits of fruit, or better yet, a nice smoothie with some berries and bananas. So, Kat asked me about cravings. Cravings is the feeling when you really, really want something. Usually we talk about this with cigarettes because you have an addiction, but it can also happen if you're on a diet and you're not allowed to eat chocolate or sweets or candy, but all you can think about is chocolate, sweets, and candy, and you feel like you need them. So that's a craving. And if I have a craving, if I do fancy something sweet, again, we're using that contrasting structure. If I do fancy, is that flag for fancy?
For sure. Fancy, fancy, fancy.
Right. If I fancy something, then I want it or I would like it. When we talk about desserts at the end of a meal, or if you're thinking about what you want to eat, we often say something sweet. Like, oh, I could go for something sweet. Or, oh, I fancy something sweet. And we're talking about dessert or something a bit unhealthy and sugary and delicious. So if I do fancy something sweet, I've been swapping sugary stuff. So so recently, over weeks or over several months, I've been swapping sugary stuff for bits of fruit. So I don't eat sugary stuff like candy, chocolate. Instead, I eat bits of fruit. So I've been swapping this for that. Swapping A for B. I'm eating B. I'm eating bits of fruit. Or better yet, or even better, better than that, better yet, a nice smoothie with some berries and bananas. I'll wave my own flag for that one. Just the pronunciation.
What do
Bananas.
you say, bananas? Oh, you say
Bananas.
bananas,
Yeah.
bananas. And I say
Yeah.
bananas,
There it
bananas.
is. Yes, right. Okay, so last part of your story, Kat. I have cravings, I know, but do you ever have cravings too, or do you ever have a cheat day?
So a cheat day is usually when you're on a diet and then you take a day, maybe an afternoon, and you just eat whatever you want, right? I mean, yeah, on the weekend, of course, I treat myself a little, maybe some chocolate, maybe some pizza. You only live once, right? Now, just because I have a little bit doesn't, it's not going to ruin my healthy meal plan, right? So on the weekend, I think, Mark, you usually say at the weekend, right?
Yes, some people do. Yes, at or on, both fine.
Both work. Okay. I treat myself a little. So you might have seen the phrase treat yourself, treat yourself. That means give yourself a little treat. Give yourself something that makes you feel good, makes you feel happy. So, of course, I treat myself a little, maybe some chocolate or some pizza. Now, I like the word some when it comes to food because you can use it for almost anything. You can use it for countable and uncountable. Some chocolate, some pizza. Yeah, we could say a slice of pizza or a piece of pizza, but hey, could I get some pizza? Might be a slice, might be two, might be half the pizza. But it just means a little. Some chocolate, some pizza, some eggs, some potatoes, some vegetables, right? It's a very easy word that you can use with almost all food. Because I know sometimes we think, oh, some rice, some coffee. This one's really easy, and we use it a lot when it comes to food. I mean, you only live once, right? So if you've ever seen YOLO, this is kind of outdated, but it means you only live once. And it kind of means if you are overspending, if you're eating too much, if you're enjoying yourself too much, you might say as an excuse, well, you only live once, right? YOLO.
Right, yeah,
But I
don't
wouldn't
worry about
recommend saying
tomorrow.
YOLO. I don't recommend saying YOLO anymore. It makes you sound old. That's okay. You can be
It
old
does.
with us. It's
It's a bit 2010, isn't it? Yeah.
it's very 2010, isn't it? All right. So now that we've gone through our stories and explained all the best vocabulary and the expressions, here are the full stories once again. I try to eat healthy by cooking at home most days. I focus on eating nutritious meals with fresh vegetables, whole grains, and lean protein like grilled chicken or beans. I've been cutting down on processed foods and avoiding things with added sugar. For snacks, I choose low fat yogurt, raw almonds, or fresh fruit. I try to drink lots of water to stay hydrated, keep my energy up. I also try to eat a variety of foods so I get plenty of vitamins and minerals. And on the weekend, of course, I treat myself a little, maybe some chocolate or some pizza. You only live once, right?
And here's my story once again. I don't follow a strict diet, but I do try to make sensible food choices. I cook my meals from scratch using as many non-processed ingredients as I can, and I'm trying to get more fiber-rich foods in, like lentils and oats. I generally avoid anything too salty or greasy, and I've been keeping an eye on how much red meat I eat too. I have a look at labels to find low sugar and low sodium options. And if I do fancy something sweet, I've been swapping sugary stuff for some bits of fruit, or better yet, a nice smoothie with some berries and bananas.
Okay, guys, now it's your turn. How do you like to eat healthy? Write a comment below and see if you can use some of the phrases from today's episode. We love reading your comments and we reply to every single one.
Yes, we definitely do. And once again, the bonus materials for this episode and all of our other vocabulary podcast episodes are online now. They're on our season 4 study pack, or you can get this big bundle with all 4 seasons, and it has all PDF transcripts, the picture dictionaries, listening activities, and more. They're right there in the link in the description below.
Thanks so much for joining us today. We'll see you next time with another episode here on High Level Listening.
Bye.